like you should explore the airfoil related data, and I will share the link also. If you don't know, most of the aeronautical students, they are knowing where the airfoil database is there. So what you will see, you can get the details about the airfoil data from the different resource links. Okay, so I will be sharing this. You can go through the different type of the airfoil tools and data. Okay, so most of the time we forget the nomenclature. Okay, 4-digit, 5-digit, 6-digit. Okay, yeah, already it's in the 1 series, 7 series, 8 series. So what is the meaning of that? And most of the time when we are designing, we do the mistake. Okay, uh, after knowing the theory also, mostly we assume, okay, this is the complete thickness of the maybe the airfoils. Okay, and if symmetric also, then fine, but if cambered, then we have to check what is the locations of the maximum cambered. Okay, so that you have to remember when you are designing. If you design proper, maybe aerodynamics theory related to the wing will work. Okay, otherwise you are just compromising with the designs in the smaller UAV. So just was the idea, you have to explore more, and I have done in the slide also, I think just 2 or 3 slides I mentioned related to the nomenclature. If you want, then you can go there. Okay, I think I will show you, then I will start the topic today. Yeah, otherwise I will show you. I think other slides is there, 2 or 3 slides I have to show you, so I will check that. So today class, normally what is there means we have to start with the design. Means what are the selections, especially when you're going to design the airborne platform. Okay, so basic theory is there, and after basic theory we have just like a case study on the design. So 1 or 2 models just I'm going to explain, which is designed in like either you have 7 kg or 8 kg type of maximum type of bed, and one I think case study related to the internal testing. Okay, so one internal testing related data I will show you. This is the ISC related data, so I will show you that also, and then one experimental test protocols. So you will get the idea what are the basics designs means. Okay, so based on the theory you can realize what we should do. Okay, and if you go complete aerodynamics theory, then designs, flight mechanics, those things, then I think you should work in the details. So this is just a summary brief we are going to discuss in the course. Okay, and then brief 1 or 2 tutorials related to the designs. So I will start now. So this is the second chapter of your reference book, textbook, and already told previous class also, when you start any type of airborne platform or any not just like UAV or maybe the aircrafts, but anything, if you start, you should have these 3 stages. Okay, first conceptual phase, then preliminary design phase, and then detailed design phase. These are 3 phases are very important part. Okay, so when you start with the first conceptual design, maybe either going to be successful or not. Okay, so that depends during your conceptual design itself. Is it you want to make realistic models in the future, or maybe you are just working to get some idea, or maybe virtual models. Okay, so based on that you are going to decide on the conceptual phases. Okay, so this is the concept based, and most of the time what happen when you are starting this type of design, any models, either you're talking about the smaller UAVs or maybe large type of UAV. Okay, yeah, maybe the military fighters or spacecrafts. You always just start with the idea, correct? Idea, yes, some concepts. So what are the process comes under that, we are going to discuss briefly about the concept phase itself. Okay, so main target, what is the main target when you start this type of design or maybe the selection of the systems? we think a little bit different. Okay, not only R&D, research and development type of the applications, but we always think we are looking like a commercial purpose, business point of view. Okay, so every business, when you start, you have different conceptual phases. Okay, when you're talking about the R&D, there is a different conceptual phases. Okay, maybe your conceptual phases in the R&D may not going to end with the detailed design phases or maybe preliminary design itself. Okay, but when you talk about the business type of the idea, when you have some system development and we are talking about the complete like a systems that should work or maybe that going to implement or going to deploy in the customer point of view, then you have all these three phases, and every phases what are the other supporting systems will come, designing stops, then tools or maybe manufacturing hubs, all are coming. Then you're looking like a environment, like other factors also, which supports the systems designs and deployments. Okay, and then the business point of view means you are coming with all the business phases under this part. Okay, so detailed design is very important part when you're talking about the business type of the year one platform system designs. So we'll see that first conceptual based. I think just briefly highlighted this. So when you talk, already I told every business point of view designs, people will talk how to make a profit, correct? And not only just for the owners, but other shareholders also believe there. Means somebody already invested the money for the your research. Okay, so research should be ended with the complete models, means that should be deployable level and at least bridging the gap where you see today. Okay, so when you start any designs or a one platform, you will see always what is the gap and what is the need is there in the current scenario. Okay, or maybe in the future, if not working today, after 5 years or 6 years, that maybe will work. So if you start today, conceptual design means you should have something in mind. Is it your target is just R&D work or maybe how to make a profit? Okay, so this is a very important point when you start the conceptual phase. Based on that, all your idea will change. Okay, so that you have to remember. So when you talk the profit or make a profit for the shareholders or company shareholders, okay, main target we see what is the trend today, uh, because many companies or vendors they are working in this field and you have to survive. Once you design the systems is not like that will be applicable or useful to all the customers, or maybe you have limited number of customers. So you have to check what is the gap first, like in the market. Maybe you're talking about the similar system, then can we go with the cost benefit to the customers or not? Okay, so either you have completed different designs after looking the market scenario like a market research, or you have at least the cost, or maybe the uh, if if we are talking about the products, then what are the features you're going to add there? So new designs, not in terms of the platform but in terms of the your features is also important. And second thing, in terms of the cost, if you're not going new things in the market, then how you can improve the cost? Okay, so both way you can manage, you can survive in the market. Okay, so if you have good features, a good platform, or every time you're changing the products and you have something new in the product, okay, so of course customer will be appreciated. Okay, and then other way they will be appreciated means you should have at least cost margin, like you have advantage in terms of the cost. Customers should get minimum cost when compare in the other, compare the other products. When this is the very important point when you're talking about the conceptual phase. And when you check like a entirely new markets, like if you're talking about no, already products are there, already cost is very low, we cannot go in the both cases like a same product with the different cost. Then you have to look totally different, means you have to innovate something new. Okay, so innovations comes in the picture. Maybe inventions can be a different way, but innovation is also important. you can go ahead with the existing system, how you can upgrade, but you can go with the either entirely different new systems. Okay, so in that way you are looking like a new markets getting correct, means maybe new customers will come up with the new type of the products. So you're looking like that way itself if you are not able to manage the cost and different products like the same products. So you should come up with the complete different. So this is there, like we have always mostly like in this category we always check you should have commercial viability in the earlier stage itself. And if you not, then maybe if you don't have clear picture after 3 years, 5 years or 10 years down line, is it this will be available or not? Okay, so if already up to mark some products are there and you cannot do further research, if you, or maybe you don't have any idea, you should not go ahead. Okay, so just I was reading one article where they are saying today, just I've seen that one of the, I think toys based company is not toys actually, that is working in the car related maintenance, and they are coming with the old car with the new designs. Okay, and I think 70,000 to 300 crores business. So what is the new there means if you look like let's any vehicles also driving the vehicles, and after 1 month someone is selling costly vehicles, correct, very costly vehicles if selling, then within 1 month itself that will be like a second hand. Okay, so if you have something in mind, can we change something there, can have something new designs with that. Okay, and then you have different customer, means customer is looking something different. Okay, not second hand, because second hand term is itself coming in the mind. Okay, so this is actually different idea. Product is the same, second hand car only, but they thought different way to change little bit, either external designs, or maybe has something different upgradation in the at least new cars which had uh, become the second hand within 1 month, 2 month, or maybe 200 kilometer, 300 kilometer, and after that people are talking the second hand. So you have to think different way. So just I given this idea, just I thought I should share that. It was a very good idea. Within like 6 7 years or 10 years, crossing 70,000 to 300 crore is a very big deal. Okay, so that is like commercial viability, how you can go ahead with this. Okay, so if you have this type of idea, then only you can survive. So that was not a new, that was not a new concepts. Okay, this was like a how to come up with the customer, how to change the mind of the customer. Okay, mindset of the customer itself by existing model, but you are upgrading little bit. Okay, designs or changing the some part of that, something like that, correct. So the same way if you start with the designs, especially in the airborne platform, you should have clear picture how concept should initiate. Okay, so this is a very important part, and you should have at least outline of the designs, means what will be the performance and cost of the development, means at least you have idea manufacturing hubs, what are the things should be available, and then how to deploy the products, means if operation of the products if you take, then sometimes very costly, correct. So deployment of the product also sometimes you have to check how feasible is there from the customer point of view uh, with the downline, like 10 years or 30 years. If you're looking bigger aircrafts, then how much cost is coming to operate that. Okay, so everything you should have in mind during the conceptual design itself. So I think this is a very important point when you start any design like this. Any design should start with the concept and proper concept, which will be thought all this features or maybe the terms which required to survive in the market, correct. So there are some points raised under this, like a conceptual phases. First questions they raised is it what the customer needs. Okay, so most of the times customers requirements is very high when you go with the customer, like you talk with the new products or a new startup you're talking, and you are visiting first to the customer, then looking what the customer requirement is there, and that is not available. Okay, so you're coming with the something new idea, and then you are thinking like a startup, correct? So of course you are looking like some models or maybe designs or maybe products in the futures. Okay, so is it that customer needs going to fulfill or not? Mostly customer needs will be very high in high requirements. Okay, so that is not required. Okay, no need like you should meet all the 100% requirements which mentioned by the customer. You should go ahead with the your ideal. So what is the feasibility when you're talking about the product development, correct? Because you have to start then end with the manufacturing. Okay, manufacturing constraints also you have to check. Okay, is it a staff constraints out there, or maybe tools constraint is there? Yeah, any like deployment constraints are there. So all those constraints if you consider, then only you can decide is it we can meet the customer needs or not, and how much we can need. Okay, so first question suggests we should not worry about that. We can meet the 100% what the customer thinks. Okay, so this is the first question you should have clear in the mind during the concept design itself. We are not forced by the customer to come up with the all the requirements. Okay, if you meet all the requirements, then very good. Second point they raised under this concept phase, what is the predicted size of the market? Okay, means number of units. If you check like maybe the multiple manufacturing companies are there, and you're looking like a same area, your one platform, something like that. So what is the market share you're looking? Okay, you have to analyze, is it you're looking the national level or at least a state level, a national level, yeah, international level itself. If national level, then what is the percentage of the market you can capture? Okay, means you should have at least customer with you. It's not like you started the um, product without the customer. At least you already interacted the customer. Someone is there who invested the money, and they are looking like at least someone is there to purchase that. Yeah, you're getting the products. Okay, so at least you have idea if you are spending the money in the future, or maybe a huge budget in the future, and maybe you are not able to sell 1 or 2 units itself, then what is the need of that, correct? You have spent it, you have spent the huge money as well as the what is called human resources, correct? And after that, if no one is purchasing, and no customer is available for that product, then what is the need of that? Okay, so very important point. And because that people are going with the research analysis type of the companies, they will interact first, they will get the data, who are the customers, because they are doing the research. Okay, so there are many company coming as a startup who are doing just research based analysis. Okay, so every product they will interact with the customers, they will check, okay, what is the need of that. So they are coming with a different type of the magazines, books, or maybe they have every year they are publishing a monthly, or maybe the 6 month they are publishing, okay, reports. And based on the report, they can tell what is the billions or million or billions dollar market is there related to this product. Okay, so based on that only you can start, means someone is there, and what is the gap? Okay, so gap is also important. If maybe 100 companies working in the same area, but is it all 100 companies able to meet the requirement or not? Okay, which is not possible. I think if you see the Airbus, Boeing itself, they have 300 400 aircraft manufacturing, maybe the requirement. Okay, but they are not coming in that level. Okay, so maybe they will take 5 years, 10 years itself to meet that requirement. Otherwise, there are, means there is a very big gap, means what is the demand and what is the manufacturing is not meeting at all. You can check that articles, you check the articles, what is the current scenario, what is the order given to the Airbus, and how much they have delivered. Okay, so always you will see the gap. The product is not available as per the demand. Okay, demand is high and product will be less. Okay, so that is a very important point, means you have at least idea there is a gap. So if you enter there and you can bridge that gap little bit, then it's fine. You can start with the uh, your what is called prediction in terms of that. Okay, means you have a basics idea that. The third point here, will the unit production cost plus markup by seen by the customer as a value for money? Okay, so this is a very important point because deployment also coming in the picture. So one is the unit production cost, and then plus your profit, then maybe deployment cost, all are coming. So if you add all those things, so is it that cost is value for the customer or not? Okay, if that is the need, okay, product need is very important, or maybe really need, then there is no question about the money, correct? They will go ahead with the high cost deployment also. But if that is not useful, maybe somehow they can manage with the other system also, then is it uh, recommended or not? Okay, so that way you can think like a, what is the production cost will be there, what is the profit should be added on that, okay, and then what the deployment cost is coming from the customer point of view, okay, because they have to hire if airborne, then some pilot at least, some ground stops, okay, so at least those people are running cost, correct? That should be under the markup itself. One time investment is fine for purchasing, but if you see the AMC cost, you see the staff related cost, those are running cost, correct? So after 10 years, if you see, is it that cost is feasible or not? Okay, so that is also important. You have to look when you looking like a design. So under the conceptual phase itself, we should think all this. Then will the operating cost and system reliability be acceptable to the customer or not? Okay, this is the something open point again. If you look the operating cost, and then how long you can use, correct? That is the important. If you look any vehicle also, if aircraft, then we talk, especially civil aircraft, those we talk at least 30 to 40 years minimum, correct? 30 to 40 years. 40 years after that, mostly too much AMC require, like too much maintenance require, so cost will be very high. Okay, but when you see like at least 10 years or maybe 20 years, you will see minimum cost of this operating cost is different, but at least AMC related cost you will see little bit less in comparison to that. Okay, but deal is different, 20%, 30% every year they will take. Okay, either you operate, do any maintenance or not, only just for the system they will charge 10% to 20%, maybe go higher. Okay, so without doing any AMC, like any maintenance, just for like a what is called rule, or what is called policy of the AMC, you are paying the 20%. Means within 5 years you are paying the same amount of the product. If you don't want AMC, then you have need based AMC, correct? So need based AMC is always costly. So of course this all should come in the picture. If we are talking what we are giving the product to the some customer, then what is the AMC you're charging? Is it you're looking like it after 10 years we should get the double of that? Okay, because they are not getting the system, they are just giving the money because of the service you can give in the future. Okay, so you can realize same way, like if you talk about the smartphone, if you talk about the vehicles, if you talk about any type of the system, you pay the AMC without looking any maintenance, just by thinking something will happen in the future, and maybe within 1 year nothing happened, correct? So already what you paid, there is no use of that, correct? But company got that advantage, means there is a profit. So maybe product side they don't have profit, but AMC side they have a profit. Okay, so you should have a very clear picture what are the costs going to occur to the customer within 10 years or maybe 5 years. Is it going to pay the same amount as a product without getting the product? Okay, so that is important here. No one will reject this. Okay, no one will skip this. Either the manufacturer going to handle this, or maybe third party vendors, yes, third party company going to handle all this AMC related. Then will the non-recurring cost of the program be recoupled in acceptable time by return on sales? Okay, so that's the idea. Means if you see the again what is called extra cost than this year running cost of the program, then we always see if you sell. Okay, if you sell, then is it acceptable or not? Okay, so that also should be realized after selling the products, or maybe if you customer itself resells, is it how much percentage they can get that? Okay, so those things should be also considered under the conceptual phase. Then when you coming with the any designs, then you should not start directly, correct? Because that every startups, when you start, you should have PAN card, GST basics, correct? Need, and then you should have legal persons, CA or maybe CS is there, then you're looking like at least patent attorney should be there. Then again you're looking when you are registered the company, then offices, electricity bills, getting correct, electricity availability, water availability, then environmental pollution related certificates. So what is the meaning here? When you come up with any product development in the future, how that product going to affect the environment, or how product can be affected because of these things, getting correct, political, regulatory boards. Okay, so at least you should have the certifications going ahead of this. During the sales, if something happened, no one will give you permission, then maybe after 10 years, after complete development, you don't have permissions or certificate, your license itself to sell that, your license to make legal those things, correct? So when you start all this, means you should have all the feasibility in terms of the either regulation, rule regulations, environment related, or maybe any certifications required to start this type of project. Okay, so these points which is raised under the conceptual phase, this is the starting phase. If you find any difficulties, should solve this first, correct? Then only we can decide what technically a technical terms, a technical development should be in the different phases. So that is the idea here. Means if you start the techniques of operational analysis, cost benefit, economic study, these all answer, previous answers should be answer, correct? So you should have alternative options, yeah, techniques, yeah, methods adopted for the each. Okay, how you can get solved this, correct? So of course this is a very important point as a business point of view. Okay, because concept based is not just discussing about the R&D side. In the R&D also you can tell if we are going to design, okay, if not in terms of the business point of view like this, at least last one, then all the other points will be coming, right? We are not selling in the market, but at least for the testing purpose we have one or two or something like that. So most of the points also will be considered in the R&D side also. So main idea is that if you find like useful, like all positive conclusion as per the previous questions, then you can start, or maybe you need little bit some changes. Okay, some changes. If not possible, then you have to drop that. That is the main thing. You should not go ahead with that, correct? If not feasible, if not working, yeah, maybe business point of view, this is not useful. Yeah, cost is very high. Then what is the need of doing that type of research? Because that many things is not coming out, correct? All will be on the paper, or all will be on the just like a simulation side, and many things are not coming. If you see all virtual, many things are there. In the movie side you see lots of technology they are showing, correct, which is just animation. So if every animation possible as a actual, then I think very good thing. But why we go ahead with the animations? So of course, where is the need that if animations type of simulations can work in the game side, the game becomes the business. So new markets. We are not talking about the, let's go ahead with the designing the physical models to operate in the environment, correct? But of course, this is the good thing. Idea can we make a simulation based something new markets for this type of. So many people are coming the game based, correct? Lots of designs are coming, which is not physically maybe available, or which is not required physically should be available. Okay, so that you are going to remember. And now opportunity may be taken during this phase to carry out. So main idea is there, if you decide everything is fine, possible, not today but in the future is possible, then you can start. Then you can think about going with the internal testing. Okay, and confirm the theoretical aerodynamics. Okay, because you have to do that, and then modification to their craft shapes. This is like a process which is going to transition as a preliminary design. So we are start because we have to look where is the wind tunnel testing facility we can get, how theoretically you can derive the aerodynamics. Okay, and if you see the past long back, when you don't there was no any computing facility, correct? Then you can think when they have designed the spacecraft related rocket idea itself, then how they have done, correct? One or two NASA related images, if you see related rocket designs or maybe calculation, you will see the very big chart, and many scientists just writing there itself on the chart by calculating the different phases idea. Okay, So that is the need. Means previously maybe there is no this type of facility or techniques was available, but they started, correct, where they started by looking after 10 years or 20 years or maybe 100 years. This will be something in the different shape, correct? So that way means you can go ahead, but you should have uh, very big timeline. Means you are looking like a very big gap for the profit. Okay, after 40 years, 50 years, maybe that is coming, correct? So only organization then in that case can take care, not like startups or maybe the company can go ahead with like that. Okay, so because this is a short term, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, people can go ahead with the losses. Okay, after that they should be in the profit. Okay, and 100 years, yeah, 50 years or 60 years, if you're talking like this type of idea, then maybe only government or some national agency can work on this type of things. So you can see like what are the futures. If you check the past and future today, all the costly R&D type of the research started under the government, correct? Either a space related, space based, yeah, military related operations, all are started with the government with the government investment. Okay, and then slowly people entered, okay, because it has a complete protocols, complete rule regulations, then manufacturing hubs, trained persons, getting correct. But who start like the people who started especially vehicle side, ground vehicles, you can see they also spend too much time getting their profit, correct? So maybe someone done private looking like a long gap, and after that maybe they have in the profit. Okay, or you can see the if medicine side also, I can give you example. If you check that all the new medicines coming under the government, correct? Maybe only the few people can invest the money for coming out this. So all comes because of the rules, regulations. Otherwise, if you give to the private agency, they will take advantage of this. Okay, so sometimes all the new projects, if you check, is it related your business point of view, or maybe something you need, correct? So based on that, only private and the organization, especially government organization, they can decide. So right there means you should check. And once you have like a certain technology proven, okay, you should check what are the other system going to be integrated with that. Okay, so you should check other also, means this system should be available or not. So when you ended with the conceptual design, then actually starts from the preliminary design. Okay, so original outline design of the total system will be expanded here only. Okay, so what you see in the previous means you are going to answer here. So you are coming with the optimizations in terms of either performance, okay, yeah, operational roles or atmospheric conditions. So when you enter with the preliminary designs, okay, we are looking all the perspective. Is it we are going to improve the performance, because you have started a little bit, correct, in the concept based. What will the shape, how looks that, what is the performance? So basic theoretical calculation is started. And if a rough idea, if you talk, then at least we should have basics of internal test models available. Okay, not perfect I'm talking, but at least in the conceptual design side, you can go ahead with the rough model, you can test in the internal. Okay, so at least you will get the idea how we will be working in the preliminary design itself. So there means you should check the performance, then operational roles which was projected during the your conceptual phases, and how atmospheric conditions going to be useful for the system deployment. Okay, or maybe that atmospheric conditions may not suit for the your product itself. So what is the time, what is called that threshold line you're fixing for that? So maybe the same product you can use in the particular environment or not, correct? So you think like this way when you're designing the aircrafts, maybe the normal small UAV, if it look like all weather condition, is it working or not? We always raise the question, correct? So you should have all weather type of the systems. If you started with not like that, should not work in the rain, should not work with the very high wind gust. Okay, so maybe you started with this type of constraint, then slowly you're coming with the, okay, this would work with the particular wind gust or wind speed, okay, and then this would work with the all weather conditions also. Okay, so depends how initially you start, okay, and then with the time how this can be changed. Next point, mock-up of the aircraft in operator area. So this is the important, either in terms of your models or in terms of your controller stations. So when you start with the actual aircraft models, which is not perfect, okay, but you are giving some shape, and then you are looking like how this looks correct in the future. So many times what will happen, you will see the mechanical constant, okay, mechanical constant, mechanical looks, okay. In that case, you should check with some other materials, either going with the wood or going with the soil also sometimes, or maybe different materials. You should have something mock-up designs like some rough models, okay, and it can be your aircraft models or maybe the other controller stations which require to control the aircrafts. Then you will get the idea how physically looks, okay, and second, what are the complexity will be there. So you are not integrating any electronics, not integrating any things related to the models. Just you are looking like a first how shape will take care and how aerodynamics will affect. So this is the idea, means you should have at least basics designs to just give the idea. So all twice or maybe the you will see the different models designed by the wood or maybe soil or maybe the what is called gypsums materials. Yeah, you talk now mold, correct? So mold may not be perfect, but at least you have some rough idea how looks that. Based on that, you can decide how what is the accessibility of the maintenance, okay, and then operator ergonomics, all we are looking. Think different way. Let's say you have designed the cockpit layout without looking the pilot sitting inside, okay, and now you place all the switches different locations. So now we think if you have not thought about what is the gaps should be there, left, right, top, like overhead panels, then ergonomics suggests if your leg or maybe hand not going to support, leg maybe the high than your basics designs, correct? Many people get disqualified because of the just medical fitness, correct? Not like a health, but actually leg size, then your hand size itself. So you should have enough leg, like a leg size should not be very large to make like uncomfortable sitting inside the cabin, especially, or not a cabin, but cockpit. And second thing is not have short hand to just like access the overhead panels. So what is the meaning of this? Ergonomics means gesture applied by the person should not get affected, okay, inside that system. So this is like controller station point of view where the operator will be there. And if you're talking about the maintenance also, how easily you can do the maintenance, okay, so accessibility for the maintenance is also important. So all this activity will get access, will get idea with the small models, yeah, mock-up model is itself. Then this facility becoming less necessary today, because today you have 3D computer design programs. Okay, so looking like a physical models, now people looking first going with the 3D models. So of course this has started slowly. Long back there was no software, so started creating physical models, which is not no use in the future, only just getting the idea. And now you have good software, you're talking about 3D modeling software, your 2D modeling software, and then you have CFD analysis type of the software. So of course you're getting more exposure, okay, without getting the physical designs or making the real hardwares. You're looking like 3D model first, correct? And 3D model for 3D model with the different integrations, like how can be integrated if you component wise, if we talk, then you will get the idea how physical models can be designed if you're looking the 3D model itself, okay. So today first part like your mock-up models uh, became less necessary in comparison to the 3D models, okay, but till today people are using because they are not coming with the different models today. Because you can make 1, 2, 3, or maybe 5, yeah, 10, 15 you can make, correct? 100 you can make, but how many you can make mock-up model? So that will be good. You can make thousands type of models in the software. Okay. So now you have optimization software, like optimization design software also. So you're just placing 1 or 2 model, 3D model inside the software, and with all the constraints if you give, then I think after optimization you will get the 1,000 models, correct? And 1 or 10 of the models will be perfect, which matching the all the requirements you set for as a constraint, correct? So this is the good idea. Means in the preliminary design you have to think all these details, and then you have to check it can be either manufactured in house or which will be procured. Okay, so idea is there. If you're looking component wise of the your product, like airborne platform, then you're talking engines, you're talking about the communication system, you're talking the autopilot system, you're talking about the maybe the materials itself, correct? Then if you check all the basics components, then questions comes, is it manufactured in a house or it can be get from the outsides? Okay, so either you getting from the other vendors, either you national vendors are there, yeah, international, like importing the system from the outsides. So you have to decide what are the system you can make, what are the system you can procure. Okay, in that way you can save the cost. So if you talk about the now sensors, correct? Sensor already available in the market, but somebody will tell, no, I want to make a sensor. So making sensor cost is very high in comparison to procuring that, because fabrication's cost is in the crores, correct? Like a huge crores going to be spent for just machine to manufacture the sensors, but someone is already manufacturing and cost becomes 3,000, 4,000. So your cost will be maybe 5 lakhs, 6 lakhs for the same sensor initial period, and same sensor you will get within 3,000 to 50,000, something like that. So what is the meaning is here, all elements or components is not required to manufacture in house, correct? You should check the alternative options. If legal, you can procure, you can integrate, and you have survival situations using those things. Okay, means in the future you can get that, then will be good to procure, or you give like a procurement process to the third vendors, or maybe give the third vendors to manufacture that. Okay, so that is the idea. Means you should have at least suppliers, and based on supplier you can decide what is the cost coming. Is it manufacturing cost is higher, or maybe the procuring cost is higher? Okay, so that way you can uh, think about that. So all is coming under the preliminary design. So this is like a comprehensive definitions of the design of the complete system with its interfaces and system specification. So under the preliminary design, only we are coming with the complete interface issues, and then what are the system specifications should be there. Okay, so we are talking about the complete system designs. Okay, we should have complete things, because once you have one model ready, then we are talking about the details design where many things are coming in the picture, correct? So of course this is the phase where you're looking at least 80 to 90% your system should be ready. um, Maybe not legally for deployment, but at least your technical products is ready. Okay, so that you should remember, means complete system should be captured, yeah, developed under this design only. And we should know all the interface issue, and then what are the system specifications are there. And then costing of the remaining phases of the program and the cost of the system operation will have re-examined. Okay, then you should check further uh, what was the cost you started during the conceptual phase, and when you are looking like a remaining phase as a preliminary half, and then maybe the your what's called detailed design phase where you are looking customer, yeah, end of the customer, yeah, deployment of the product. Then what is the cost variations are coming, means you should revise this, correct? Every time you have to check, is it projected cost is enough or maybe less. And I think I will give you examples just related to the yesterday came that articles related to the steel. Steel cost becomes very high today, correct? And in the past, like few vendors, they already has done legal document with the government organization. Means if 50 rupees per kg, and now cost if 70 kg, getting correct. So what is the meaning of that? Means there is a loss. Once you have done the legal documents to provide the equipment, your product, you're not going to deal further, correct? You cannot break that. Only in the future you can justify if that is not coming under deal. Okay, so this is a very important point. If you have not done proper by looking the market scenario, if you don't have flexibility in terms of the cost margin, then I think you will win the loss. So with the time, mostly when you see the conceptual designs, cost is always going to be changed, and preliminary design, your what is called detailed design, you will see huge cost is coming. So because that 80 to 90% cost will be like a reserve for this type of phases. Initial cost, if you think little bit less, then is good. Okay, so initial investment should be less. Many people, they fail the this type of idea, because they will start investing the huge money for manufacturing hub. Okay, without looking the product, they are looking like how to come up with the facilities first. So actually you're spending the huge facilities, huge money in developing the facility itself. You set up the facility itself, and after that, if your product development is not going in that way, then what is the need of that, correct? So you should be remembering all these factors. Means what is the percentage of the budget should be relocated for conceptual side, minimum persons should be involved, minimum facilities should be created. Okay, and you should have investment in terms of only R&D research with the customer. Okay, lots of customer research should be there involved for that. Okay, and then you can release 40%, at least 40 to 50% for the preliminary designs. Okay, so this is not fixed amount, that will be varying based on the system engineering point of view. So this is the idea. Okay, so preliminary design suggests you should have flexibility for reconsidering or revising the cost of the system operations itself. So here also you have few persons during the conceptual. Now only few relevant persons should be during your preliminary designs. Okay, deployment, detailed manufacturing, all those are coming where huge persons, staffs will be involved, huge facilities will be involved. Then you're talking to the many customers, sales persons will be involved. So that is the very detailed design. So here also suggests you should not have the extra persons hired during the preliminary designs. So you should check what the minimum persons staffs require for development. So initial period you need a very expert. If you're investing the money to the expert, finance to the expert guys, then I think that is a good idea. Okay, hiring the more people in comparison to hiring the expert is very important. So you can cut down the time, correct? The product you are expecting within a year, and you hire persons like that way, so you have to train them, extra cost is coming. But if you give the same amount to the experts, like where the consultants is coming in the picture, maybe advisor coming in the picture, or you are looking like some experts from the academics, those people are helping in the R&D side. Okay, so all the cost, or maybe the what is called extra charge, which will be considered for the staff, that you can give to the experts available during the preliminary design itself. Okay, so you should have very minimum persons, HR available, and minimum facility available for employment of this type of designs itself. So when you do this, then you will see cost is very low. Maybe budget reduced during this type of design considerations. And when you go further, then you can think like how to start hiring the people, then hiring the good managements for handling the futures phases. Okay, so right there, for the programs management to urge overly completion this phase. Now careful consideration of options and the addressing of such matters. Okay, so if you're talking about the constructions, your reliability, maintenance, and operations. Okay, so you have to check all, because later phases will be more expensive, correct? Where huge investments coming for the your setup, manufacturing hubs. Okay, so those things are very costly. One equipment itself cost if 1 crore, then I think every facility should get used. Okay, either that is used for construction or maintenance or any testing for purpose. Okay, so you have to check all this type of idea during the preliminary design itself. So when you're designing, then you have to look, is it you are going to design the models, and what the models design require the facilities. So facility requirement is also important. So you should have very narrow study on this. You should not go ahead with the very high end type of product requirement. Okay, yeah, setup requirement for looking the future, correct? You should have time, because after 3 years, 4 years, maybe that facility is not working, correct? So you're spending huge money. So let's 3 years just you're looking like first R&D development phases, testing phases, and you're not looking manufacturing, correct? So that during that period you can give that manufacturing uh, task to the persons, correct? Yeah, vendors who are doing this type of design or development. But you should have agreement, because if your legal agreement is not there, then maybe that product will get leaked. Okay, so because that people are looking the patent, they should have a patent on that, because they are looking the third party vendor for uh, communicating all this type of idea, then looking like a third party vendors components to integrate with this idea. Okay, so of course your product going to leak among the people who are connected with your idea, correct? Or maybe your company. So in that way means you should have a legal document from the each person's non-disclosure agreement, or maybe um, you have similar some documents where they can help you only, they cannot take your products, or maybe you have at least partition wise you can do that, correct? I think Katia has given that option today. Like if you 4 persons here working from the different uh, nation, like a different country itself, they are not able to access the other work, correct? But they can integrate, they can see the complete models, but they will be available only that much part where they are working. Okay, so I think you can check those things, how people are looking today to protect the complete models. Every person should not get a complete model when they are working, correct? So only the part which they are working they can access, not the complete models. But when they want to integrate, they can integrate. Okay, so that type of idea always should be addressed during this type of, then only you will see there is no mistakes in the future in terms of the huge loss. Okay, now question starts when you have all these discussions, means you have done complete system related analysis, you have done cost related revision also, you have already seen the experts, then facilities, what is basically required. Okay, and then you have seen the all the considerations in terms of the construction, reliability, maintenance, operations, while looking the futures. Okay, then now you're opening the all those things in the detail. Okay, so what the details means here? First, basics details comes for the mass production. Okay, so your product deploy what is called uh, prototyping phase already has done. So you should not get confused what is the prototyping means. Most of the academic side they will tell prototyping. Prototyping means they have developed the first model, means that is the prototype. That is not a prototype. That can be considered under the mock-up, a little bit advanced than the mock-up. Okay, prototyping suggests you that is the one model which is coming in the market without either any change or very minor change. Okay, so prototype is actually the product that you have to remember, but you have spent the money only for developing 1 or 2 or 3 models for testing purpose. Okay, so prototyping means you should have complete product available, which directly either available in the market, or maybe after some minor changes will be available in the market. Okay, so that should we remember. So once you have done the preliminary designs, during that you have done all this development testing. Okay, you have some models, you have seen the what are the component interface, what are system specifications are there, the people involved with that. Okay, so now you're expanding, correct? So when you expand all, of course, that looking like mass productions. If mass production, then you need the more people. Okay, so greater number of stops should be employed. Okay, because now that is the need. number of, if products is more means you need more number of hours. So if you want to cut the more number of hours means you need more number of people. So that is the human hours. Okay, so no one will talk number of hours, but they will talk the human hours. Either number of people is more or number of hours is more. Okay, so either you have time is more, or you have more number of people involved for that. Okay, so there will be constant also. If you cannot tell like if 30 hours will take for one production, then we can manage with the 3 hours only. It's not possible that take 30 hours only. But if you want 30 hours, how many components you can take out, yeah, how many products you can take out, that depends number of people involved. Okay, or maybe machinery or equipment facilities involved for development of that. Okay, so you can check the production time for the aircrafts, or maybe production time of the vehicles, yeah, production time of the robots, those things. Yeah, any PCB designs you will see they're talking about the per minutes, or maybe per hours, or per week, yeah, per month. Getting correct? How many are coming? But if you're talking about the maybe per year for actual aircraft, civil aircraft type of, then you will see is it 10, 20 numbers. You have to talk the number on the finger, correct? So that is the idea. How many aircrafts going to manufacture within a year? We cannot tell going to manufacture within a month. Then detailed design. I think next point here, we have to go with the detail analysis. Okay. Now we have come up with the one complete models, correct? Now we have thought lots of the aerodynamics, structures, manufacturing part, materials, all those, correct? Now people are talking till today, correct? How we can design different shape, so we can improve the aerodynamics. But after designing the different shape, you optimize shape as per the aerodynamics also. That is not perfect, because people are putting lots of the antenna, lots of the equipment, which is the looking externally correct, which may not suit as per the aerodynamics. Now people are talking the stealth design, which is not possible if you go 100% aerodynamics. Okay, so that is the compromise. Means you should have very detailed analysis of the aerodynamics. Means either you're going to compromise with the aerodynamics as per the design requirement or features requirement, or maybe you're looking at least looking all those features how your aerodynamics can be 100%, correct? So this is the gap. Uh, Till today, 100% aerodynamics is not possible in the aircraft. Just by looking engine installation itself, or just looking like a antenna installation itself, or maybe structural vibrations itself. Okay, so lots of problems are coming. And if you're talking about the stealth design also, a stealth never suggests aerodynamic shape, correct? They have to be a different shape. So of course, so you have to compromise there. How much aerodynamic shape you should not like a degrade, correct? That is like 80%. If aerodynamic shape should not degrade, should not degrade. That is the meaning. Okay, so stealth is also, we can't go 100%, because as per the stealth design, if you're looking like a radio frequency, like reflected reflections, should be up, not down, correct? Most of the radio system will be ground on the ground. Only organizations has satellites in the space or in the sky. Then any reflected ray if going up, then get detected by them only. Means only national related organization can capture. But at least hacker is not going to capture. But if your aircraft does not have that type of options, shape reflections type of shape, then of course that ray will go anywhere, correct? Down also, somewhere also, so it will get captured. If you're talking about the now engines related installations, exhaust installation also, if you're talking, let's engine installations, mostly will be like exhaust will be parallel, correct, to your motion, yeah, flow of the over the most structure, correct? But now if you're looking like let's jet related smoke coming out, or something like coming out, correct? Some smoke is there, yeah, flow is there coming out, that will get captured. Yeah, sound is coming, that will get captured. So if you want a stealth, then you have to divert that. That should be again up. Okay, which is not recommended by the aerodynamics. So if you're looking like all sounds, acoustic should go up, not down. Then your exhaust going up directions. Means flow also going up. So exhaust, acoustic, all are coming, correct? So in that case, means we are compromising. We have to go with the very details designs. Dynamics also, if we are talking stability, then either is it a static stability, then dynamic stability. Then we are talking about again the complete control point of view, how dynamics is going to involve. Okay, so all dynamics should be in the details. Then structure in terms of either you have material, then you have shape structure base also. Materials mostly will consider under the structure, but when we do the analysis, then you see the all analysis, pressure variations, those things, correct? So how your structure, your material going to be uh, re- like a recommended for the designs, or maybe what is called recommended for the any what is called optimum design, optimum performance of the design, because structural vibration, if you talk, then also affecting the system, correct? So you should have very good materials for the structure point of view. Any other equipment also, if you talk other equipment, communications, engines, those things, correct? Other equipment than this, which is also should be discussed in the details. So you have a layout of the mechanical, electronics, environmental system of the control station, or any other subsystem involved with this, either for launching or recovery. All should be discussed in the details when you're coming for the complete design. Okay, so under the detailed design, this is the very details. Then next phase, you're going with the all these components for production, correct? So you should have drawings. You have seen, correct? By looking one small models, just to talk about the motor, correct? If you're talking the motor, then all motor diagrams will be there, like how looks that complete manufacturing, correct? So going with the small like a component itself in the aircraft, you should have details design, yeah, manufacturing idea, how we can do the production. Okay, so either looking like details design and drawing of the parts, the components for the production of each element of the system. Okay, so this will include the your aircraft as well as the ground supports test equipments. Test equipment is also important because you are not going to deploy directly. You are testing, you are calibrating the aircraft on the ground. So if you need to test that, like let's like if you're talking about the wind tunnel test, is it a small scale model, or maybe you have some sensors to integrate with that? Okay, or if you're looking turn rate type of the measurement also, then you have turn rate measurement devices, equipment to test. If you're looking like a caustic type of then you have a caustic test equipment like a chambers, correct? So what are the test parameter you want to check? You should have complete details. Okay, details study over this. Or this can be bought. This cannot be manufactured every time, because this will be from the other vendors that can be utilized that idea. Okay, so you should have complete idea. If you manufacturing, if you're doing the production, then you have details design with the drawing. And if you are going to purchase that, then you have complete what is called tender process, correct? Many vendors should come in the picture. They should highlight what is the technology involved with them. Okay, what are the features they have with the uh, those product which we have to procure. Okay, then lots of procuring process. Either you are looking like arranging the requirements, then someone giving the proposals to you, then you are figuring out what are the proposals, what are the products details are there. Okay, then you're discussing with them about the technical details and how will be suitable for your productions, correct? And then you're going with the discussions for the meetings, many meetings. Then again cost analysis. Okay, like you're going to compromise with the cost with the vendors. Okay, then transport testing. Then you are looking how to set up that all activities. This comes under the details design of the procurement process of the equipments. Okay. Okay, so those all will be covered, like a jigs related tools required for manufacturing, all will be coming. Okay, so all comes under this. So you can tell like a very huge investment going to be invest during the your detailed design. This is very costly, because that we have to wait some time for coming with the at least prototyping models. Spending this huge money in terms of the facility development will be good. You can wait sometimes for looking first what is your model or idea itself. Okay, so you should have then test schedules. Okay, especially for the technical products should get tested. Okay, for all. various type of, if not just like a flying the model. Okay, if you want to test the communication system itself, you have to test the whole aircrafts in the hangar, correct, where the you will see the equipped chambers type of systems, correct. If you're looking like a system should be tested in the caustic level also, you should have a caustic chamber, correct, where you're testing those type of communications will not get affected, because you will see lots of sound, correct. Then environment related pressure, temperature variations, velocity. Okay, so what are the feasibility, is there a possibility to test that, we have to test. Okay, moment of inertia, CG, all those, correct, those things should we get captured. Then during the test itself, you should have all the documents, details documents for the each components. Okay, testing details as well as the operating details, and how to do the maintenance. When you are going to sell this type of product to the customer need at least these manuals. First you should have operating related, first installation is very important. Okay, that is the under maintenance sometimes called, but the installation reports should be there, means how they should be installed at the location, correct, customer location. So that should be there. Then operating type of manuals should be there, how they're going to be operate that, and then maintenance. Okay, so this type of the documents always require. So when you have detailed analysis of this type of development, means you're looking like all the manuals should be ready. Only you're not sharing the technical details. Okay, how manufacture. Okay, you're just giving the high level of the technical details, what are the features are there, and component wise how the system, what is the working principle is there, and how going to be installed. Okay, no one will tell you how this developed, how this designed. Okay, so of course technical details like details manuals, or maybe the reports available with the company, only the top level manuals will be available to the customer. Okay, and then training facility, how you can go ahead with the training, those things also should be captured during the detailed design. That can be a market, that can be a service can be a profit for a market point of view. Okay, so that you have to remember. So after detailed design, there is called the selections of the systems. Yeah, 10 minutes more I will take, then we will stop. So selection of the system is important, and when you talk about the selection of the system, uh, what are the roles of the AV system is important. So when you start the selection of the system, what first we see, is it a civil applications or the military application? Started with the military applications because this was the just need for them, not for the civilian purpose, not for the hobby, correct. Started with the something need in the country level or maybe national level, and slowly they started, okay, this system can be utilized for the civil applications. So this has given one of the example, like RMAX and manned helicopter start with the defense applications, and further they started with the crops spraying. Okay, and then they thought like, oh, this can be utilized for the civil applications. Okay, so this depends like lots of changes in the future. Maybe that time a spray was not in the mind, correct. Okay, autonomous helicopters should be there, and most idea was the like a hovering, because there was no possibility using the fixed wing. You can hover for some period, correct. So helicopter was the good example, and based on the helicopters only this multi-rotors theory came in the picture. So either you have seen the something rotating body in the aircraft, or maybe you have fixed wing type of the aircrafts, correct. So this was the need started some type of the helicopters, and helicopters need for the hovering. That was the main purpose, vertically take off and land. Okay, then you can go forward, back, left, right. So these features was not there with the fixed wing aircraft. Okay, because that they was thinking like how to go with the helicopters, and then slowly started all this multi rotors. Then um, now today trends is the VTOLs, getting correct, transition type of systems. So if you check all start with the some specific applications, and with time this utilized for the civil applications. So lots of changes happened, several developments required. Okay, maybe today or maybe tomorrow also to bring this type of system, or maybe new systems in the future which will be useful for defense as well as the civil applications. Okay, so selection of the system sometimes is important when you're talking about the application specific, your system going to be changed. So when you talk the principally the experience gained in their operation by military, agreement with the airworthiness authority on regulations for their operations, possible adaptations. So this should be also uh, capture under the selection of the system, because at the end you are talking about the system which is not recommended, correct, not regularized. So this regulations, everything will be captured, yeah, controlled by the particular organization. So we should have proper legal agreement with the authorities who are going to certify our the products. So this also should be considered under this. Okay, and then what are production or support facilities required to adapt, okay, to do this, correct. So that's that again will be captured under this. So here normally if you talk about the civilian and then military application, maybe the system, main system will be same, correct, main system will be same, but civil application side we see the economics, correct. Normally we see the cost is important. Military operations, they never talk about the cost, they want good features. Okay, so maybe we are talking somehow manageable. Okay, not the military related type of the systems, but maybe somehow at least some part of the system should be same. We are not talking about the different type of the payloads, different type of the communication systems which mostly require, or maybe the very secure software which is required for the military operations. So maybe you have at least compromise when you're talking about the civil applications. So this is the compromise. Okay, this has to be think for the civil applications and military applications. So what are the system selections required for civil, and what are the system selections required for military? Should be very clear. Should be very clear, and basics will be the same. Okay, basic of the system mostly will be same for both cases. So this requirements, application requirement, or what is called role requirement, why either civil customer, civilian, or maybe the military, be hobbyist. Okay, that will give you the idea, the what is the shape, size, or what is the performance level they are looking, what is the cost they are talking, getting correct. So they will check all, because at the end they're looking the overall AV system cost and operating cost itself. So based on the applications and deployment itself, they should decide what are the uh, terms or maybe the features they are expecting. Okay, so if they're looking terms, then uh, how big or small they're talking about that. Okay, maybe in terms of the endurance or maybe stability point of view, and then what is the cost is coming for the system itself. So these are the few factors I think is there, which we'll be discussing the next class also. They have highlighted 8 or 9 factors which required during the selection of the system itself. Okay, otherwise you will see if you not just your selections proper decided, then somewhere you will miss. So just I will be highlighting the term, and then next class we will be discussing in details. So one is the payload. Payload is important, means applications specific payload you have to do. So what type of payload we will be discussing next class. Then what is the endurance requirement? Based on that you are going to decide your system. So selection of system is also depends on the endurance. Then radius of actions. Some people will like 5 kilometers, some people like 10 kilometers, someone will like 300 kilometers, someone will like more than maybe 1000 kilometers. So what is the radius of actions required? Is it your payload or is it your communications going to support or not? Okay, so for either payload related or telemetry related, telecommand related, all should support within this radius of actions. Okay, so then the next speed is also important. What is the speed of the aircraft is there? Based on that you can decide your vehicles. Then I think next point will be what is the launching or recovery type of system? Is it runway based? Is it your launcher itself or any other possible. Okay, recovery, is it again runway or maybe the parachute or maybe airbag? What type of net recovery? What type of options are available based on your needs? You are talking about that. Okay, overall system, because after interfacing all how this will be operating. Okay, so overall you have to check overall system selection is actually matching your requirement or not. Okay, so I think details I will be highlighting next class. Then environmental conditions, where you're going to operate, or maybe how your system will get degraded when you are looking with a different environment, maybe for which you have not designed, correct? So many times when you design for winter country, then maybe you have different idea. When you design for maybe the too hot type of places, then maybe your sensor also be protected, correct? Your structure also, your paint. Long back, I think there was articles paint was coming out. That was the actual civil aircrafts. Because of the too much heat and pressure, that paint on the aircraft was coming out. So then they realized this, and then they solved how paint should hold this type of temperature or pressure itself. Otherwise, if paint itself coming out from the actual civil aircraft, then that will affect your aerodynamics, correct? So you can get, I think if you, I forget the name of that aircraft, but this was there in the articles. Uh, some of the Airbus or Boeing aircraft, this problem faced in the, I think within 1 year, past 1 year or something was there. You can check which aircraft this paint issue came in the picture and how they solved this. Okay, so we are going to little bit explaining this one in the next class also. Then maintenance, then category of the your selection system selections based on your height. Okay. So then one of the tutorials I am highlighting this slides, which will be projecting few models, one fixed wing, one tilt rotor, and then one wind tunnel testing of the helicopters. So then I will be going with the third chapters, which is the aerodynamics related. Basic aerodynamics again will be capturing there. Any questions? Okay, thank you. Next class we will meet again.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Everyone has given this one. What is called CV and the synopsis.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
sir.
Okay, because today